Hi.
How are you doing today?
I am very well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I mean, any day at Comic-Con is an exciting day, right?
Very much so. Very much so. How y'all feeling? I was gonna say besides cold. Unless you got a dope costume on and you're warm.
I see some Ahsokas out there. So we're here at Comic-Con. We have a lot of your fans out here. When you look around in the world, what do you get recognized for the most?
It kind of depends on where I am, but I definitely here I would have to say probably Ahsoka, Becky, Abernathy, Gail. Sometimes people say some inappropriate things. You know, it's like there's kids here, so you gotta be careful with some of those clerks quotes. But yeah, it's been really cool. Mimi for forever. I think one of my favorite things about that is when I meet other people who've played in different performances of it, because the community of Rent is really special.
Redheads, right?
You're a redhead.
So I see all these Ahsokas out there. I see a lot of Star Wars cosplay. Amazing, by the way.
Not easy.
Not easy. And you would know. Your road to Star Wars, your road to Ahsoka started from a piece of fan art. When you first saw that piece of fan art, what did you feel?
I felt powerful. It was such an incredible image and so strong, and it was so beautiful to see her at that stage of her life. That's what I think got me so excited, was the possibility of that story continuing. And I think that's what got me so moved when we first got dressed in what her new costume was going to be that Shauna had created, because it wasn't cosplay, it was a new adventure. And that just was really exciting, because hashtag Ahsoka lives. Hey!
The new costume. What did you feel like then?
Like I might lose the job because I was doing like jumping jacks, and I could see there was a moment where like John and Dave were looking at me like, did we make the wrong choice? Was she too excited? Like, you know what I mean? So I had to try to keep it in, but I think it wasn't until I really also put the contacts in that it felt like I was definitely her, which felt really cool. Because you could see the difference, people like looking at me and being really excited, and they were kind of more taking in the costume and the whole look, but when the eyes were in, they were all like, it just gives a gravitas.
That's really incredible. What was your favorite part of the entire Star Wars experience for you?
Being in it. I remember I met our Princess Leia, our Carrie Fisher at a con in Chicago, and seeing how the fans were with her, and and I had done some readings and things with Mark Hamill, and I get excited obviously when he does the Joker giggle and everything, but for real, it's just to be able to use the Force and be in this space where I can say, may the Force be with you legitimately, officially. Like I remember watching the Mandalorian episode with my mom, and I say it at the end, and my mom literally just like did the slow head turn from the screen to my face, and just like tears in her eyes, like she was a teenage mom. She like did that. She like made it happen. I was now officially, telling her that the Force was strong with her. And I literally just took a picture of my grandson next to an R2-D2 and a C-3PO with this whole sticker like thing that was on this whole mural wall that says the Force is strong with this one. And I was like, it's coming full circle, guys.
That is so beautiful. So, you just mentioned voice acting, right? So when you're preparing for a voice role, how do you prepare? And is it like wildly different from preparing for live action?
Yeah, I don't have to put any makeup on. I don't have to get up as early. That's awesome. And I get to usually like play video games and things like that to really get into it. No, I really love it because you get to kind of keep playing with it and experimenting with it and coming back to it. Like working on Lego Batman. We've shot, that was done over a couple of years. So it keeps getting tweaked and you get to see the animation kind of develop, which was really cool. I just did a voice on the new Terminator, which is awesome. You should totally check out if you haven't yet. And that felt so special to be part of a franchise that I remember watching with my parents over, like dinner and like kind of contemplating like logistically would it really make sense if we were to go back in time and how you would do it differently and all of these different things, and now to be a part of it in these different ways. I have been a part of these different Marvel shows in live action, but to do the voice of Wonder Woman, to do the voice of Lego Batgirl, to do the voice of You know, I did a podcast, I did the voice of Catwoman. Like, I get to do these really iconic characters in the DC space, you know, with my voice. And being that Tim Curry is my favorite actor forever for all time. And his career and people like him and, you know, our wonderful James Earl Jones who just passed. Voice acting was just always something I was always very compelled by. I mean, I'm looking at your Snoopy shirt right now, and it's like just like animation, cartoons, the funnies. My uncle was a comic book artist. Like, I just have always loved storytelling in all the different ways, and I'm just so grateful that I get to do it on screen and behind the screen.
That's really amazing. You mentioned, great answer. You mentioned playing superheroes, and you mentioned being on the Netflix shows. Everybody loved you. Everybody loved you as Claire in Daredevil. Do you prefer to be the superhero or to be the woman on the street?
It sounds a little like off.
I didn't mean it that way.
You know, there's nothing wrong with that. I think I think one of my favorite things about playing Claire was how many nurses and people in the health field contacted me. There's a guy, Josh Cruz, who I became friends with. He's a great collector. He's a nurse. He's a night nurse specifically. And, you know, I met him actually through a contest that we had so he could come to the top 5 premiere, and we stayed close. And he constantly is always sending me different stuff from the characters that I've played and things. But I just remember how much it meant to him to have that sort of character so uplifted and in so many of the different shows, and showing how heroic and necessary her contribution was, not only to keeping these other heroes safe, but just in general, her life mission to take care of people. And I think that's what I loved so much about the street level characters in all of those shows, as fantastical and fun as it can get with these characters who are the aliens and super superior in all these different gifted ways. It's really wonderful and remarkable to imagine someone just taking it upon themselves to help someone else who is also just as vulnerable as that other person, who's used discipline and, you know, and pushed themselves to a measure of excellence because of just a righteous feeling for justice. And I think that we have lots of those heroes every day. They run into burning buildings, they go and protect people, you know, they rescue and they do emergency surgeries on them. I think it's just really beautiful that we get to sometimes with these stories that are very fantastical, also highlight that we live among heroes and we all have that opportunity to show up for each other in a powerful way.
It's really incredible. One more question before we turn it over to fan questions. So start thinking of your questions. Josie and the Pussycats has had this huge performance. What's it been like having new generation rediscover that film?
Means du jour means family, right? So I just love, like, I have songs from that movie going through my head all the time. I was saying I had gotten this flat tire that I was changing by myself. I tried to help him. I was like, no, I got this. And I was like, spin around. And guys, I was like taking off the lug nuts. It's just, I get really, you know, I think it was such a special time doing that film because it was still when we had privacy. We did not have a lot of cell phones or any of that stuff. We were on location, filming in Vancouver. And we just had such an amazing time, and it's with so many incredible people that I'm still very close with. And I love like people really getting it because I think it was ahead of its time, and it's still, when you watch it, it's a really good film. The music is really awesome, and I think they did, you know, Deb and Harry did such a brilliant job, you know, making that film be something that could be really timeless.